Today we're going to be talking about Arthur Miller's The Crucible. Arthur Miller wrote The Crucible during the McCarthy era. During that time, a lot of people were being accused of communism. So he decided to make a statement about this accusation that were going around by writing a piece about another time in history where accusations were also being made, the Salem witch trials. Now, people were being accused left and right for witchcraft, and this also happened in the McCarthy era with communism, as his friends were accused of communism.
The theme of truth is shown in many ways. Most specifically to me was the power of the evilness of gossip. Also the truth of marriage difficulties, but being able to work through them would be another. Would you like to add to that?
Well, I think the truth is that that people are sinful, and it shows the human weaknesses that gossip can cause. It can cause people to react in a way that they shouldn't.
The Crucible shows the principle of truth because the actors stood up for truth even though they knew they would die for it. They were still willing to stand up for what they knew was right. And the play really made you appreciate those characters and like them, as opposed to the ones who actually caused the problems by lying.
The truth is revealed in the Crucible. I believe that the judge had to bring out a lot of the lies and the secrets that the people had kept, and he brought the truth out, and it affected the community greatly.
The theme of truth was displayed in the Crucible through the one set of characters who valued truth and honesty and integrity above their own lives. And then the contrast was the other characters who would distort the truth all the time just to save their own skin.
I don't think it really was portrayed at all. I think everyone just lied, and then the people who weren't lying were buying the lies. And they based everything off of the lies of these few girls, and there was not very much truth in the whole thing.
Hi, my name is Hayden Lovin, and my group is doing a presentation on the Crucible. And just a couple months ago, I had no idea what the Crucible was. I like acting, and I know that the actor Daniel Day-Lewis was in a movie called The Crucible, and I had no idea what it was until North Central put on the production, The Crucible, here at school. And I was lucky enough to be cast as a cast member on the production. And that was a unique experience in and of itself, but this presentation specifically has caused me to hear the perspectives of a ton of the audience members and stuff, which really put it into perspective as far as how Arthur Miller sowed themes from beginning to end in his play. Prior to this, I thought the Crucible was just this little white thing that you used in science class that you would heat up and boil water and stuff, but now I know that it's a play that transcends generations and still super awesome.
The Crucible also allows issues to be brought to light in various decades in history, because this, although it applies to a specific one, the Salem witch trials, it also makes us think about what we condemn and why we condemn it, and sometimes it isn't fair, so it makes us think about those kind of things.
Well, I guess just that everybody ought to be able to state their own case and get a fair trial, I guess. That's maybe all I could say about that.
I think The Crucible, as written by Arthur Miller, demonstrates it's a timeless play. Of course, it refers most directly, at least in the play, to the atrocities against the women incorrectly accused of witchcraft in very early years of our country. It shows the power of lies. Satan is the king of lies, and how we're so easily taken under his control. And I don't think you can say this is just for one decade or what it was then, or even when the McCarthyism on which it was probably based, which took place in the 1950s, where based on unfounded rumors, people were marked as communists, lost their careers, their livelihoods, their families, sometimes even their lives. And a mark of a good production, a good play, a well-written screenplay would be, is it still relevant today? And I would say, yes, it is extremely relevant.
There's a parallel between The Crucible and the play that was written by the author from South Dakota, The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, Frank Bowen.
Now, The Wizard of Oz, and the author denies it, or at least didn't come out and say that the play, The Wizard of Oz, the story, was about the fakeness of the government in Washington, but many people did make that parallel.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so just like The Crucible bridges that, it's almost like an analogy to a real situation.
The Crucible shows the way that society will attack and destroy anything that's different from what the norm is, and they're scared of anything that changes their comfortable little lives.
Hello, my name is Adam Wells. The difference between the script and the play as far as our production of it, the script tends to be written a lot more angry with, there's a lot of exclamation points, people seem to be yelling, and the way that you read it is that you just, seems very angry. And the way we did it was, Wayne wanted to do it kind of calmer, and so it's almost like the lines are more heartfelt and you get to know the characters just a little bit more because of that.
Hello, my name is Hannah Jackson. I was the stage manager of North Central's production of The Crucible. The Crucible story is very interesting. It starts out with a young girl who is in bed and she isn't waking up. She won't speak, she won't eat, and people are very confused and wondering why. They suspect witchcraft, which brings all sorts of crazy things to light. People start accusing their neighbors of witchery because they want their land and all sorts of different things, and people are wrongly accused. A farmer's wife who is completely innocent is accused of witchery because a young woman wants her husband, and so she's going to accuse her of being a witch, and it's just tons and tons of lies and confusion, and in the end, truth is finally brought to light, but it's too late because people's lives have already been taken. I think it's really interesting how Arthur Miller chose to use a past event to bring to light the craziness that was happening during the McCarthy era. I think that choosing a past event rather than using the actual event happening currently was a way that he could bring to light issues that were less offensive than if he just wrote a play that was clearly about the McCarthy trials, or McCarthy era itself. Yeah.
So the whole fact that John Proctor's main theme was the fact that he did not want to spoil his name in the town, what does that mean to you?
Well, he realized that there's a verse in Proverbs, I think, that says something about that your name is worth more than any riches, to that effect, something like that. And it just says about how important your reputation is and how important your character is. And reputation and character are tied right into your name. And how you don't trade in your character and your reputation so that people will think that you're innocent, or so that people will let you off the hook. You hold to your character and you hold to your reputation.
I was wondering how you felt about Arthur Miller's portrayal of Judge Danforth in the play The Crucible. Yeah, me too.
Much, that's
And now
all
a question for you.
Oh, yes.
How do you think Mr. Miller came upon the title The Crucible?
The Crucible. Well, from what I understand, a crucible is some kind of pot or something that keeps things high-heated and confined, and so I think it was kind of like things getting to like the boiling point. That's how I take it.
Double,
Toil and trouble. Also like a cauldron, very witchery like. That's my opinion, I don't know.
Well, that's it.
That's the whole story.
That's a presentation of The Crucible
For the class.
for the class.
Of the scriptwriting
For
class.
Gary Dopp with one P.
Gary Dopp.
There's not two P's, there's one P, Gary Dopp.
One.
And that's The Crucible, Arthur Miller and The Crucible.
By Arthur Miller.